It's no secret. It's plain to see. I love you, and you love me. It's no secret. You know it's true. You love me. I love you. The only time we seem to meet is in the middle of the night. Only then can I feel your heartbeat, 'cause something's not right. Together I see you and me, always and all time. But not everyone would agree, 'cause then it's a crime. It's no secret. It's plain to see.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, people, lovely people of Fireside, everybody watching on YouTube, and if you are listening to the replay on the Spotify app, welcome to Moon, Magic, and Mindfulness with Grace, your weekly most favorite motivational segment here on the Fireside Chat app. Welcome, Shannon, Pamela, Eileen. Welcome, really, Charlie. How are you doing? Lovely to see you here. It is such a great week, and we're going to talk about why. But first of all, let me just welcome you all who are brand new to this app, to this show. There's a lot of people joining us, and that is so exciting. Let me tell you about who I am and what we do here and on Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace. My name is Graciela Moore. I am an ICF certified personal coach, entrepreneur, content creator, toddler mom, all the things. And I do it all from the comfort of my home, which is amazing. Such a blessing. Never take it for granted. And my favorite day of the week has always been Monday, without even realizing the context of why or knowing anything about it. And in my journey of, self-revelation, self-growth, a lot of spiritual work, a lot of life coach and therapy and all of that, I've realized that my affinity with the moon that dates back to childhood is directly correlated to this day of the week, because it's called Monday because of the moon, just like Sunday is for the sun and Saturday is for Saturn, so on and so forth. What? That's right. And so my passion with Moon Day has to do with a very consistent goal that I had when I was back in corporate, right, working corporate America, where I really wanted to focus on recreational time during my weekend and plan my business week on Monday. And so I've only been blessed enough to do this for the past 3 or 4 years. And then when I met my husband 6 years ago, he taught me about time blocking, which is something that I'm also very excited about, right? Because time blocking allows me to really plan my week block by block by block by block. So am I one of those obnoxious people that puts meals and nap time, or, at this time I'm going to read, or at this time I'm going to go for a walk with my child, so on and so forth, or at this time we're going to leave to go to the park? Yes, I am. And the reason why is because it allows me to plan ahead and be consistent with my time, and also be very productive with the time that I have. But if I end up not planning ahead, when I look back in retrospect and write down everything that I've done for the day or for the week, it allows me to see how productive I've already been. And this is all really in line with, showing ourselves grace and showing ourselves compassion. If you are listening and you are a stay-at-home mom, you know very well that you don't just sit around in your laurels, right? There's so much that you do, yet there is this stigma of, you've been home doing nothing all day. Well, I kept the toddler alive. How about that? Or I did laundry, or I washed the dishes, or whatever. Like, there's so many things that we do, right? And we don't really give ourselves the grace or the compassion or the pat on the back sometimes when we do this. And all of my work, my personal work, and with my clients as well, is in line with getting people to really understand that you do deserve the grace. You deserve all of the amazing things that life has for you, and working for them little by little is part of that, right? Because otherwise they don't just magically appear. But let's get to the magic part. So, in this show, Moon, Magic and Mindfulness with Grace, we like to meet together every Monday to strategize for the week. And so here we are. Thank you for joining. We want to have the most productive week possible with rest included. So by all means, ponder when do you think you'll need the rest, and give yourself the time to regroup and to re-strategize, or to really just rest, because you do deserve it, right? Spend time with family, all of that. What do you have to do for work? What do you have to do for pleasure? What do you want to do, right? Because what you have to do and what you want to do are two different things, right? And then the magic portion of the title of this show is really about how all of these efforts come together like ingredients, right? It's like what I do today. Let's talk about Monday. The attitude that you bring to your Monday resonates to the rest of the week. You're going to see a lot of this in my content, especially on Mondays, because we tend to have the Monday blues or the Monday madness or the Monday mood or all of these other, hashtags that we see on social media for Monday, because you went and spent time during the weekend doing this or that, and you had a great time, and come Monday you have to go back to work and you're not very happy about it, right? But when you put all of these efforts together and you get into the flow of it, that elusive flow that we all strive for, it's magical how everything just falls into place little by little, right? Nothing happens, out of nowhere. Nothing happens overnight. It all takes time and effort, and it all takes hope, and it all takes discipline. And if you think about it, if you consider time, effort, hope, and discipline as ingredients, you put them together and there's the magic, right? And then mindfulness is really all about a lot of my life, a lot of my coaching practice. You're going to see mindfulness all over my content. And here in this show, aside from strategizing for the week, we also journal, we paint live, so you're welcome to bring your paint and bring your materials and join me on camera if you ever feel led, so that we can paint together. And those are mindfulness practices, right? And we also close out each episode with a mindfulness meditation where I guide you and you just get to relax and enjoy. And the beautiful thing about this app is that it allows us to replay these mindfulness meditations anytime. And that is Moon, Magic, and Mindfulness with Grace, of course. And then the grace aspect of it all is when you do fall through the cracks or fall down the wayside or go out of practice, or you stall a little bit on your progress, grace really comes in to save the day. And by grace I don't mean me, even though it's a nickname I've had for many years. By grace I mean, what do you want to call it? Do you want to call it the grace of God? Do you want to call it, the mercy of Jesus Christ? Do you want to just call it grace, right? Finding perfection in every moment, which is one of the most beautiful definitions for grace that I have encountered in my research, and that is by Panache Desai, right? Whatever it is that you define grace as, when you give people grace, what does that mean for you? Okay, well, when you encounter the same situation for yourself, are you going to give yourself grace, or are you going to dive into negative self-talk? Oh, I suck at this, or I should have done this better, or I'm not a good mom, or they deserve better than me, and so on and so forth. And as an ICF certified life coach and a coach that, really focuses on hope and really focuses on soul alignment, I'm very interested in every single effort that we put together out here in the world to be aligned with who you are at the core. And if you don't know who that is, then getting to know who that is, at the core, aligning every single aspect of your personality, every single aspect of your values. What do you appreciate of life? What do you appreciate in other people? So on and so forth. Who is your authentic self? Have you ever wondered that? And if you've struggled with some of the things I've mentioned, then you're in the right place, because this is kind of what we discuss. Well, not kinda. This is what we discuss. I just say kinda because it's not that we discuss all of it every single Monday, but it's a week by week thing. I like to take things 1 week at a time. And so here we are on season 2, episode 3, which means we're on the 3rd week out of 52 weeks this year. Just like that. January is already past the half, and before you know it, it'll be February. Before you know it, it'll be spring forward, and our clocks will change again on March 12th, and there's just so much to do, so little time, places to see, people to commune with, and it's just magical. And that's really what this show is about. So thank you all for being here. I'm so grateful that you're here. So one of the things that I love about this show as well is that we get to have a conversation. So before we dive into the mooncast for the week, which is a little forecast that I like to discuss in case it resonates, and the new moon happening on Saturday, which we're also going to dive into, and of course everything else about the agenda that we're going to discuss, I also like to touch base with you coming up to say, what are you hoping to create this week? What are you looking forward to this week? And with the energy of transitioning into Aquarius season at the end of this week, really Friday and Saturday is when the moon goes into Aquarius, and we start Aquarius season on Saturday. I also want to propose the question of, what are you progressing towards? And here's the thing. We started the year with a kind of slow poke energy. When I say slow poke, I really mean like turtle pace energy. And the reason why we started the year in that way was because Mars, the planet of action, was in retrograde. And if you're listening and you have no idea what that means, Mars in retrograde means that instead of it going like direct and doing its rightful thing, it just does whatever it wants out there in the universe. And it affects us to a certain degree. And so the planet of action being retrograde means inaction. So when we started the year back in New Year's, January 1st, or December 31st is when everybody's pondering resolutions and the things that I want to change this year. And this year I'm going to make sure to do this or to do that, right? Mars being retrograde wasn't really conducive for us to really commit to that. And I bring this to this conversation because Mars went direct last week on the 12th, meaning now we're starting a new week with Mars, being direct officially after a few days, right? And so you could, maybe you are feeling that motivation to really commit to things. And then Mercury, the planet of communication, the planet of commitments, the planet of contracts, the planet of negotiations, the planet of communication in relationships, the planet of technology, and everything that allows us to have this conversation right now. That's what Mercury governs. Mercury has been in retrograde too for quite some time as well. I think it was December 29th when it went into retrograde. And now it's going to be in retrograde until Wednesday. Yay! Finally, Mercury will not be retrograde anymore. All of that to say that on Wednesday, or maybe you feel it already, we might feel a shift in our own energetic drive or in our own energetic commitment to really do what we want to do, create what we want to create, commit to things that we may have just been pondering for a little too long. And another thing that Mercury does is it makes you question if you committed to something, right? There's that communication, there's that dialogue, there's that agreement. If you committed to something when Mercury is in retrograde, you might question whether that was the right move or not when Mercury goes direct. So that's for you to take with you and ponder whether that's happening in your life later this week or not. And then, of course, I'm excited because with this kind of like a New Year's second chance that we get, right? With this energy shift that hopefully you all get to feel and experience and embrace, right? Who doesn't want to be motivated to do what they want to do? If you are listening and you don't care about motivation, then I don't know what to say, right? We all want to be motivated to do what we want to do, right? And so if you're feeling that energy shift towards Wednesday, then no, it's because now that Mars is direct, Mercury going direct is going to impact that as well. How exciting is that? And so you may feel that commitment to really do the things that you kind of set out to do in the New Year's, but didn't really feel the motivation to do it. And now you might feel motivated to do it. And then Aquarius season starting on Saturday with a new moon. Yay! New moon, new opportunities, renewed hope, renewed motivations, and everything new and shiny. And as you know, because we have discussed plenty of times here on this show, the new moon is all about planting seeds of intentions, new commitments of projects that may, come to fruition later on this year, new collaborations that may be in your midst or in your peripheral, to have conversations about, and all of this that you plant today doesn't just come to fruition tomorrow, right? We've already established that. It all takes time and nurturing, and it all takes that commitment and discipline to make things grow, so on and so forth. So I'm very excited. It's going to be a great week. And we're also going to talk really quick about the moon and where it is, because we started the week with somewhat of a heavy moon with the moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is very deep, right? Think about the Scorpio, the animal, right? Going about on the sand, and they tend to go underground. So the Scorpio just doesn't like to be in the surface of things. Scorpio likes to dive deep into the nature of a problem. Scorpio loves to really ponder why things are the way they are, because the first answer received is not satisfactory. Scorpio doesn't really care for small talk. Scorpio really wants to go to the depth of your soul, and if there is a disagreement, Mercury retrograde, or if there is a lack of motivation, then Scorpio wants to really think of the worst. It's pretty dramatic. It's a dramatic sign, right? And so when the moon, which symbolizes all of the emotions, is in Scorpio, you might be feeling like that. Plus, the moon today is a waning crescent, meaning it's almost done, closing out. The light is almost gone from it. It's past that halfway point, and it's leading into that new moon on Saturday. And the reason why I look down is because I have my agenda over here that keeps me honest. The Moon Magic and Mindfulness Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2023 Manifestation Agenda /Journal that has all of this information. And because the moon is in Scorpio today, it really says for you to be gentle with yourself and with other relationships. And what does that mean? Well, if Scorpio is really digging for that truth, or really not taking things at face value, be gentle with yourself has to do with the context of giving yourself grace and being compassionate, offering people the benefit of the doubt, what's really going on, without engaging in anger, without engaging in, an unsafe environment that may bring about feelings of regret later on, saying or doing things that you might regret later on, right? That's really what being gentle with yourself and with others is all about. And in my journal, or in my agenda, we have affirmations for the week as well. And so the affirmations for this week are: today, this day, with this moon in Scorpio, and with everything that's been bubbling up as the moon is waning, today, I see my past mistakes with compassion. Can you say that about the lessons that you've been learning, right? I take what I learn and remember it with love and patience. Can you say that, about yourself and about the lessons that you have learned in the past few weeks, in the past few years, forever? I mean, we're constantly learning. It just never ends, right? The healing journey never ends. The learning and the growing never ends, because we are just ever evolving human beings, right? And so can you say that about yourself in this moment with the moon where it is and where you are in your life? You're looking at your past mistakes with compassion, and you take what you learn and you remember it with love and with patience towards yourself. It's almost like, when you look at your child, for those of us that are parents in the audience, if you look at your child and you are committed to being a gentle parent who really tries very hard not to lose your cool, right? The way that you would approach your child with patience, with compassion, with kindness is really the way that I want to encourage you to look at yourself in the mirror and treat yourself, right? The same compassion, the same level of kindness. We're so quick to offer these things to other people and not very quick to offer that to ourselves. And so this is part of the dialogue that we have this week. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you're here, really. And Emerald and MSP, welcome. And so in my agenda, you get to plan your week every Monday. It says, today I will make sure to, or this week I should say, this week I will create, and I am grateful for. The affirmations are here with the notes, and then of course you get to time block, and you get to do an open journaling session every single Monday. And then the rest of the week, you get to time block, which is the most productive thing I've ever done. And so if you would like to know what that is, you can follow me on Instagram to get to know a little bit about my book, or you can order it on Amazon and follow along this journey with us. 294 pages of the whole year pretty much already planned out for you in the context that we've been discussing here. And so that's wonderful. And from the moon in Scorpio, which is today and tomorrow, we're going to go on Wednesday, which is perfect for Mercury to go direct, with the moon in Sagittarius. And we just came from season, then Capricorn. Okay, I'm not sure if you all heard that, but there was something going on with a different app and it just interrupted us. But back to where we were. So the moon in Sagittarius, we just went from the moon in Sagittarius, Sagittarius season, I should say, to Capricorn season, which ends this Friday. And as you remember, Sagittarius is very direct. Sagittarius is goal-oriented, very organized, very optimistic. And so for the moon to be on Sagittarius on the day that Mercury goes direct is very hopeful, and I'm just so excited. It's almost like, Graciela, what are you looking forward to this week? I am looking forward to Wednesday. I'm looking forward to Wednesday just to see, what is my mood going to be? How am I going to correlate my energy to what's happening out there in the universe? And of course, like always, if everything that I'm saying is gibberish to you and it just doesn't resonate, then leave it where you found it, right? But, this is about the fact that there's a science out there in the universe that really plays a part in our experience here, whether you believe it or not. And so I would rather lead towards being informed and making educated decisions and understanding where my energy is coming from, especially if I don't feel well, especially if I don't feel motivated. Because when we're all motivated, everybody's like, oh yeah, I feel fine. I got all my products, I got all my projects, and I got everything done. And look at me, pat on the back, I did it all. But when your energy is low, or you're feeling low, or you're feeling hopeless, or you're feeling depressed, when there is a lack of information about what's going on in the world, you might feel like you're just depressed. You might seek out medical help. And of course, that's not to say that if you need medical help and medical assistance, by all means, please. The most important and only medical advice I will ever give you is seek medical attention if that's what you need, right? But at the same time, having all of this information, at least for myself and for my community, is helpful, because understanding that sometimes we go through these motions in community. You're not alone with what's happening. You know, if you feel down, it may be a planet, or it may be that you need medical help, right? And so this is where we're really diving into. And the moon on Wednesday being in Sagittarius is so hopeful and optimistic, and I'm just very excited about it. And after Sagittarius is going to go into Capricorn, which is kind of a leveling up from that optimism. Capricorn now is very organized. Capricorn is very traditional and very goal-oriented as well. And then it's going to dive into Aquarius on Saturday, and Aquarius is all about community. Aquarius, think about the sign or the symbol for it. It's the woman with the pail of water, right? Is it pail or pile? I think it's pail. Forgive me. But with the water pouring, right? And so remember that when you have to pour to someone else, you need to replenish yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. And most importantly, if someone else is going to pour into you, you need to be open to receive, right? Because you cannot receive if you're not open, willing, and able, right? So on and so forth. And so Aquarius is all about the people. And at the same time, it's also about emotional freedom. And that's really what the moon in Aquarius is about. And you cannot have emotional freedom if you're not in a safe environment or with a safe community to be yourself, to be open to that emotional freedom with. So what does that mean? Well, think about your friends, your relationships, your spouse, or the people in your community. Do you feel safe enough to express your emotions in an authentic way? If the answer is no, then I'm not telling you to change your life or to change your relationships. All I want to bring awareness to is, if the answer to that question is no, then come Saturday with the moon in Aquarius, you may feel a little discomfort when it comes time to express your emotions. And you might just back away from that. And that's just not very healthy, but you're an adult and you can do what you want. And so that's really what bringing awareness to these things is about, is for you to know that if the moon in Aquarius is calling for you to express your emotions in an authentic way, but you are not in an environment or with a community or in a relationship that allows you to do that, you might feel a little low. And all of that to really make you understand that if you feel low, it's because of the moon and because of your choices. And if you're not going to change your life, then at least you can understand that the moon has a take on it, and the moon has part of the reason for how you feel. And the beautiful thing about the moon is that it changes from sign to sign every 2 to 3 days. So come Monday, the moon is going to be in another sign, and you can just move on with your life. And we can meet again and have another great conversation about where the moon will be next week. Yay! And before you know it, here we are again having a great conversation, and Saturday is long gone and a time of the past. So that's your mooncast for this week. That was a lot. Oh my gosh, I've been talking so fast. Yes, thank you so much. Adam is here. Welcome, Adam. So grateful that you're here. Adam is one of the members of my community that has the book, so I'm so grateful for you purchasing it and for you following along with it. What a hopeful, beautiful week we are having already, and I'm so grateful. And let's discuss the new moon, shall we? If you're not coming up, if you're going to come up, then you're welcome to request the mic. You can just click on that plus sign that says plus speakers. And that'll allow you to come up and say hello or check in or tell me, what are you progressing towards? What is the next big step in your development? Dream big. That's really what the new moon is all about. And so with that said, the new moon on Saturday, right? This is the episode where we discuss the new moon. And the new moon is so freaking hopeful, always, not just now. But so there's 2 ways to look at the new moon. A lot of people like to talk about how the moon is not there because you can't see it, and so that's you see the shadow of it, so it's a great time to do shadow work, so on and so forth. So you might find people talking about shadow work during the new moon or the dark moon or whatever. But in reality, if you follow the Farmer's Almanac and if you follow the tradition that dates back to a long time ago, the new moon is about planting things. A lot of things can be planted. In fact, around the new moon, between the new moon and the first quarter moon, you can even cut your hair for growth as opposed to cutting your hair to avoid the growth. It's like the Farmer's Almanac is so fascinating. I just love it so much. It tells you all of that kind of stuff. And so this Saturday with the new moon in Aquarius, you're really being called to ponder the things that you really want to commit to in this new year. So it's like a second chance to do those resolutions that you may not have committed to 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Now you get another chance. Do they really resonate? Right? Because 3 weeks ago, Mercury was in retrograde. And so now you may look at the things that you committed to 3 weeks ago and just feel like, I could do without it. This doesn't really so align with what I want in my life right now. Or me committing to that was so unrealistic. And now I just want to back out, right? Can I back out? Can I just change my mind? Yes, you can change your mind. You're an adult. You can do whatever you want, right? And so in my book, you get to answer the journal promptings, which there's 3 of them. And then here you have a beautiful moon for you to journal into and write all the things. And so the questions for this new moon on Saturday are as follow. What are some patterns of behavior that are holding me back? Dun, dun, dun. What are some patterns of behavior? And let me give you an example of what a pattern of behavior is. Well, first of all, it's a pattern, so you've been doing it for a long time, repeatedly. And, behavior is a tricky word because a pattern of behavior may not necessarily mean something that you do out in the world, like a behavior, right? Like an action. A pattern of behavior may be engaging in negative self-talk, and this is one of the biggest things I talk about, right? Because it's one of the things I've struggled with forever, in part because I grew up in an environment where I wasn't really told a lot of positive things. And when you're not growing up in an environment where you are encouraged or, spoken words of affirmation towards, then you kind of internalize that negativity as normal. And so growing up well into my adulthood, I've struggled with negative self-talk, and still it's one of the reasons why I engage in mindfulness consistently and very purposefully, because I don't want my negative self-talk to get in the way of what I want to do or what I want to create. And so what are some patterns of behavior that are holding me back? If negative self-talk is one of those things that's getting in your way, then that would be how you answer that question. Or, I'm just really feeling lazy about this one thing. Well, what's there? What's really there? The moon today is asking you to go deeper into that answer, right? It's not just that you feel lazy or unmotivated. Maybe you're not motivated to do something because it doesn't resonate with you at the soul level. Right? Maybe you're not motivated to do something because the pressure to do it comes from someone else. But in reality, you're only going to really do it if it comes from within, right? If that pressure and commitment come from within. That's what an intrinsic goal is versus an extrinsic goal, or an intrinsic value versus an extrinsic value, right? These are all terms in positive psychology that we don't need to define right now. But all in all to say, is it coming from within or from outside of yourself? If it's something that's yours, that you really want to do, then you're going to do it, right? And if you're struggling with that, then that's a question to really look into with the help of a coach or even a therapist or a spiritual guide or whoever you know and trust that can give you some perspective without an agenda, right? Definitely a life coach would be helpful for that. And then the second question would be, how can I move closer to expressing myself authentically? And so that question, how can I move closer to expressing myself authentically? Every single question I've asked in this book is very carefully thought out. And the reason why I ask it like that, how can I move closer, is because I'm intending for you to just ponder one step. One step is enough for now, right? It's only January. This is a whole personal growth journey, what this book is, right? And so how can I move closer, just one step closer to that authentic expression? Is it, changing my inner dialogue? Is it seeking community? Is it seeking better friends, right? Think about young adults and how, my young adulthood was all about spending time with a lot of good people and a lot of, the wrong kind of friends. And so not necessarily bad people. Of course, they were not bad people, but they were the wrong kinds of people for me to thrive with, right? And so in retrospect, we all have 20/20 vision. In retrospect, it all makes sense. And in retrospect, everything has come together quite beautifully, right? But at the same time, could I have done things or spent time with, a different environment? Of course. And so that would have been one of the ways to answer that question. And then the other one is, what is something that I'm currently curious about? And the reason why I ask this question is because I want, thinking about something that you just have a curiosity about is one of those seeds that you plant, right? It's like once you become aware of the one thing that you're curious about, once you explore it on a journal and it comes out of you and into the journal, now there's a step forward in the right direction. I'm no longer just thinking about it. Now I'm putting it on paper. See what I did there? And so hopefully that curiosity of, I'm just curious about, I don't know, on book club, we're all obsessed with Don Miguel Ruiz right now, and we're going to read probably all of his works by the end of the year. And so I'm currently curious about the Toltec and everything that Don Miguel Ruiz is writing about, right? And so that might be a way to answer that question. And then the affirmation for the new moon on Saturday is, I am in sync, meaning I am soul aligned. I am in the same page as, right? I am in sync with my individual endeavors. Emphasis on individuality, even if you are in a committed relationship, because you are one human being and one soul, right? And my collaborations with the community and family. I am in sync with my individual endeavors and with my community and family. Two different things, two separate things. And the moon in Aquarius is going to really advocate for your emotional freedom in both of those scenarios, by yourself and with the community at large, with your family, with your relationship. And so that's the affirmation. And going back to the affirmations for this week, today, which is really meant to be repeated every day, I see past mistakes with compassion. I take what I learn and remember it with love and patience. And then the affirmation for the new moon, I am in sync with my individual endeavors and my collaborations with the community and with my family. So beautiful, so exciting, so hopeful. I'm just so grateful for all of it. Grateful for every minute that we get to spend together in community or not, and grateful for all of the things coming into place so that we can all keep learning, growing, and manifesting our most beautiful, blessed life. And so I'm so excited. Thank you again for being here. If you are all ready, we're going to dive into that meditation. If you're not coming up to say hello, that's totally fine. I want to say thank you again to everyone watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on the Spotify version, thank you so much for tuning in. Get comfortable. We're going to go to the river because, just the thought of going into Aquarius season and diving into the season of Aquarius has me pretty jazzed for rivers and the beach. But we've gone to the beach many a times here on these meditations. And yesterday, was it yesterday? Today is Monday, so that would have been Saturday. Saturday in the graduation of the book club, we all read a beautiful prayer at the end of Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements, and it was by the river. And I instantly knew that I wanted to go to the river in this meditation. So here we go. Get comfortable and sit back. Music for this meditation is brought to you by Brain FM, in the link in the description, in the link in my bio, or in the fortune cookie. You can find a free trial. So if you're sitting down, both feet on the ground, shoulders back, take a nice deep breath to settle your breath into nice and still, nice and slow, normal breathing. And if you're laying down, it's even better, because we're going to go ahead and breathe very deep so that you can get nice and relaxed. So follow my lead. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep, nice and slow. Long breath in all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go through your mouth. Long breath out all the way. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe in again. Deep, slow breath in. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let it go through your mouth. Nice and slow. And with your eyes closed, I want you to ponder and imagine and see a beautiful day out in nature with the birds and the sun and a glorious blue sky. And a river nearby. And you hear the water flowing and bubbling, calm and steady. Beautiful day. Precious energy. And as you approach the river, you take all of it in. And you take a deep breath in through your nose. Long breath in, taking in the air and the magic of the day. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you let it go. Nice and slow through your mouth. And you smile as you feel the heat of the sun in your face. And as you slowly dip your toes in the cold running water, the river flowing, and you're sitting there on a rock, the heat on your face, the cold water in your feet, and you just take it all in. And your heart feels so big with love, bursting with gratitude for this moment, bursting with love for all of nature, for moments of peace, for moments of connection, and for moments that really remind you that being alive is the greatest gift of all. As you sit there on this river rock, the sun in your face, the feet in the water, the birds all around, I want you to remember and really take in that you are so loved, so encouraged with all that you want to do and create. Purposefully guided and infinitely blessed and protected. Bring your awareness to your hand and hand on your heart. And remember, today I look at my past mistakes and lessons with compassion. I embrace being in sync with my individual endeavors and my community and my family. I am grounded in my values and my authentic expression. I am so loved and so grateful. With me, take one last deep, long breath in through your nose. Just fill your lungs all the way till you have no room. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go through your mouth. Nice and slow. All the way. Long breath out till you have no air. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe in again. Through your nose. Take it all in. Beautiful day by the river. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let it go. And as you let it go through your mouth, you lift up your body from the rock and you take in this beautiful scenery and you say thank you for such a beautiful day, a beautiful moment. Thank you for lush and abundant blessings surrounding me in this moment and everywhere I go. Slowly bring your awareness to your body. Wiggle your toes. Open your eyes and come back to me here on Moon, Magic, and Mindfulness with Grace. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you, really. Thank you, Shannon. Peter and Cecilia, welcome. So grateful that you joined us. We had a powerful conversation about how motivational this week is looking out to be, and I'm just so grateful and excited. Watch out for Wednesday. It has all the hope towards it, right? With Mercury going direct and with the moon in Sagittarius. So much hope writing on Wednesday this week, which actually Wednesday is about Mercury, right? In Spanish, miércoles is Mercury. So there you go. And so I'm so excited, and we will be in touch because I'm going to be documenting all of it all over social media. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you all next week. I love you all. And of course, don't forget, I'm going to go live on Instagram this week to journal and paint for the new moon happening on Saturday. So I will see you there on Friday. Bye, everyone. Love you. Good night.